Yes, guys, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Welcome back to the mid-morning edition. Arsenal news now. Arsenal transfers. A lot to speak about. Ben White agrees Arsenal deal. Finally, it's coming down. The two deals that we announced last week that are going to happen this week are finally coming down. Sambi Lokonga agreed an Arsenal deal that was over the weekend, and we have agreed personal terms with Sambi Lokonga as well. And now it is Ben White who has agreed an Arsenal deal. He says, I don't want to go to PSG, I don't want to go to France, I want to stay in England, I want to play in the best league in the world. So Ben White agrees Arsenal deal. We are working on his personal deals, on his personal terms, and we are also working on a deal with Brighton this week. We are going back with a second bid. The first one, which was around 40 million euros, was rejected. So we're going to speak about that story and a little bit more about what this also means for William Saliba. Is another interesting story that that has been published in the last 1 hour. By Chris Whitley and a couple of other journalists, saying that William Saliba will be going to Newcastle eventually if Arsenal sign Ben White. Now I'm increasingly becoming more and more confident that we shall sign Ben White. Last week I was standing at around I think in the last 2 weeks, in the past 2 weeks, before last week, I was in total doubt. Last week I was standing at around 60%, sure that we will sign Ben White, and now this week I'm 90% sure that we will sign Ben White. Now this is a deal that we are working closely. We are working very, very close to close it down as soon as possible. As soon as we finish the Lokonga deal, I think the Ben White deal is gonna be the next one. So I think a lot to speak about, about that deal. But for William Saliba, the moment White signs, there's going to be a lot of decision making to make. Does he go to Newcastle, or does he go back to France for another loan spell? Nice want him, and Olympique Marseille also want him. So it will be very, very interesting to see where he goes and where he ends up. Please do smash a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, make sure you turn on the notification bell so that you don't miss any Arsenal update. We have had a very slow start, and this is something to talk about. We have had a very slow start to the transfer window, losing the likes of Emi Buendia to Aston Villa, and losing a couple of signings. Of course, we started with the likes of Ashraf Hakimi, and the likes of Max Aarons, and the likes of Tariq Lamptey. We started with so many players that we were interested in. Eventually, it looks like it's finally coming down. Arsenal has started doing business, and I expect a very, very, very busy July, and a very busy end of June and beginning of August in terms of Arsenal transfers. The video is brought to you by OneXBet. Make sure you do check them out. OneXBet brings you all your latest sport in terms of betting. So if you do want to bet, make sure you do bet with OneXBet. They are a genuine website. They will pay your money the moment you win it. You'll be able to withdraw. If you're in Africa, they have a wide range of withdrawal options, and if you're outside Africa, you will also be able to withdraw your money really safely. So make sure you check out OneXBet. Link is in the description below, and use my promo code Cossy Media so that you do not actually miss any thing in terms of your betting offers and prizes. So let us get into it, and I'll start off with where do we start? No, shouldn't start from there. Okay, so let us start with reports that Mikel Arteta is confident of sealing a deal for Ben White this summer. Arsenal have already had a 40 million plus bid turned down by Brighton, and are planning to go back with an increased offer. They also want a top class number 10, which is Maddison. We've talked about Maddison before. In the other reports that are coming in, we've seen that Ben White, a deal agreed. However, it's not with Brighton. I think this was a mistake. It's a deal agreed. The players agreed an Arsenal deal. He's agreed to join Arsenal. However, he's not agreed personal terms yet, and he has not actually, we have not agreed a deal between us and Brighton. However, personal terms are believed not to be an issue, and we expect a loads of positivity in this deal in this week. Of course, you know, the Lokonga update. I know you would love to hear about me speaking about Lokonga at this point in time, because it's the closest deal that we are about to do. Yeah, you know, it did. You know, according to this source, I think that is bottom corner, they're saying that a deal is very close to being agreed. 18 million pounds plus 3 million and more, you know, in add-ons will be just enough to see the deal closed at around 22 million pounds. And obviously, this was Sam Dean. He was speaking about what Arsenal would get in Ben White, and basically, before we get into that, I want to stretch the focus of this video. Ben White and his camp have agreed to join Arsenal. So he has agreed as a player that he doesn't have any issues with joining Arsenal. We've been in a race with PSG. Of course, PSG coming in very, very late, but the players stand down PSG, say, you know what, I'm gonna play for Arsenal. I'm gonna play in the Premier League. I'm gonna stay in the best league in the world. I'm gonna play with one of the best, you know, the best and biggest clubs in history of football, and in the UK and even in the whole world. So Ben White agrees to join Arsenal. That's a very good. That's a very positive stage, and a very positive step towards you know, him signing for Arsenal. It is this week that I said a deal could be done. We are on Tuesday. Please, Arsenal, do this deal. Don't make me a liar. Do this deal. It should be Wednesday. It should be around Thursday or Friday when this deal comes down. So I'm very, very optimistic it's gonna come down. The players agreed to join Arsenal. He says he's not going to go up to PSG. He's not going to go anywhere. You know, he's gonna stay in the Premier League, and the Premier League club that is interested in Ben White is Arsenal. So we've agreed. Ben White wants to join Arsenal. Very keen on the move. But will we pay the money? That's what we're going to speak about. But before we go into the money, Sam Dean is one of my best journalists. He's been saying that Ben White would be a very exciting signing for Arsenal AFC if they can agree a deal. Versatile, you know, he can play as a centre back, a right back, and a defensive midfielder. Good passer, quick, also remarkably durable. Played every minute in the championship for Leeds in the 2019-2020 season, and started 36 of 38 league games last year, most minutes of any Brighton player. So I think you know, look, this is one of the things I really like about English players, and this is a lot of credit, by the way. Look, Harry Maguire has played almost every minute of Manchester United football in the Premier League, you know, ever since he joined. Almost. I didn't say everything, but I didn't see every minute, but almost. And that is why I like about what I like about English players. The same goes with can be attributed to Jadon Henderson at Liverpool. The same you can speak about Mason Mount at Manchester, at Chelsea. The same can be spoken about Kyle Walker at Manchester City. They have that durability, and you know, you can use them all season. They always play the whole season. At times you do not notice them, like players like Harry Maguire. You're never gonna notice that is played 38 games in a season, that is played 37 games in a season. But what you're gonna look at are the statistics, and you're gonna be very, very overwhelmed. So if you look at this guy, he's played 36 games. He started 36 games out of 38 for Brighton last season. That is remarkable. I mean, he didn't start only 2 games for Brighton. He didn't feature in only 2 games for Brighton, and for me that only shows me that his injury record is tick, green, tick, green, tick. That is it. You don't want a defender. You don't want a centre back. You're signing for 50 million and is injury prone. You don't want a centre back. You don't want a player. You're signing for millions and millions of money, and you're not going to get the value. So with Ben White, Arsenal will be able to get back the value. He doesn't have that injury prone record, and it's very, very durable. But of course, Sam Dean says he's a versatile player. He could play for you on the right wing, or as a wing back, a right wing back. He could play for you as a centre back, as a defensive midfielder. And I think we lack that. Versatility in the Arsenal side. Of course, you have players like Ainsley Maitland-Niles. I think he's one of those versatile players there, and the likes of Callum Chambers. But a real player who has that versatility in that Arsenal side. I think it is only Saka that I can actually say, you know what, Saka is really, Saka is really versatile. You know, you could use him as a number 10, as a number 7, as a number 11, as a right back and as a left back, and he could actually give you that same quality. So Ben White, the problem with this deal, before we go any further, is Arsenal have had their first bid rejected, and Chris Whitley has actually confirmed today that we shall go back with a second bid, which is around £45 million, and that is not something bad. That is not something that you know what, I object to. But if Brighton are saying you have to pay 50 million euros, it might not make us any good if we prolong the negotiations by going with undervalued bids, undervalued offers. It's better we go with something like 47 million euros or 48. I think Brighton will accept that. But the fact that the players agreed to join Arsenal is something interesting. Let us wait and see if Arsenal in themselves will actually step out of their comfort zone and pay the money. But of course, I expect a deal in this one, other than the Sambi Lokonga deal, because for Lokonga, I said I do not expect a compromise in that one. I think what Arsenal will do, of course, it's kind of a compromise as well, but what I think Arsenal will do is pay the valuation of the player. Now in the Ben White deal, because it's a lot of money, I expect a lot of compromise from Brighton. And if we do not get a compromise from Brighton, I won't be very surprised if this deal gets off. So the second bid will determine this deal, and the third bid will determine the Albert Sambi Lokonga deal. But just before we sign out, this according to some sources that Newcastle have been told that by Arsenal they will let William Saliba go on loan if they complete the signing of Ben White from Brighton. So this means that the moment William Saliba sees Ben White at Arsenal, he should start preparing his boots to go somewhere else. I don't know what's your reaction. What's your reaction on this? I would have wanted William Saliba to get a lot of playing time. Ben White is more experienced, played in the Championship, played in the Premier League. You understand why Arsenal want him. You understand why he's a little bit ahead of William Saliba. Saliba lacks that experience. He lacks that that game time. At a competitive level, like Ben White. But I would have wanted him to stay at the club. Honestly, that's the truth. But the good thing, we are not selling him. But 3 years back to back on loan, it really shows that Saliba's future is really, really uncertain. But anyway, we have Ben White and his camp have agreed. We have been we've been locked in talks with his agent and his camp. And finally, the side says, okay, it's a good deal. We have listened to your offer. They are good deals. Get us that agreement from Brighton, and the player will be yours. Will we sign Ben White? That's the big question, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Please do smash a like on the video. Let us discuss more and more transfers by you people subscribing. The moment you subscribe, you become part of the family, and you will be able to get all the transfer updates here on Cossy's Arsenal podcast.